Have you ever asked someone to do something for you and included the phrase, if you can? Probably so. It's a common phrase. But there's one circumstance where you'll never need it. Hey, before we look at that circumstance, this circumstance requires me to say, welcome to Mornings with Bishop Robert. And I'm really glad you decided to drop in this morning. My goal is to introduce people to the Jesus they never knew and help them get to know Him and His Word personally and better. So if our time together today speaks to your heart, then let me invite you to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. Now grab a cup, lift it up, and let's begin, if you can. If you can. That could be a simple, innocuous question. It could be a challenge. It could be an abject appeal for help. In today's verse, it's all three. You see, Jesus and three of his disciples have just rejoined the others at the base of a mountain when a boy's father appeals to him for help. He says, "Teacher, I brought my son so you could heal him. He's possessed by an evil spirit that won't let him talk. And whenever the spirit takes control of him, it throws him violently to the ground, and then he foams at the mouth and grinds his teeth and becomes rigid. I asked your disciples to cast out the evil spirit, but they couldn't do it. Now this spirit often throws him into the fire or water trying to kill him. Lord, have mercy on us and help us, if you can." Well, today's verse comes from Jesus' answer. Everything is possible for one who believes. And like you and me, the Father knew that he had a problem. He needed more faith, stronger faith. As soon as Jesus had spoken those words, the Father instantly cried out, I do believe, but help me overcome my unbelief. And there's our problem too. Oh, we have faith, some faith, but the faith we have isn't moving the mountains in our lives or dealing with the demons that plague us. It's a beginning, to be sure, but it doesn't seem to be doing enough. Then there's the issue of our fear, holding us back from exercising our faith or expressing our belief in what God will do. Just like you, I struggle with praying bold prayers and believing for big things. But God keeps stepping in and helping me overcome my unbelief. And he does it by leading me to ask bigger, bolder requests of him for his glory. Now the good news is that he answers me every single time. And the bad news is that sometimes his answers are no. Because when what I'm asking isn't in line with his plan or his will, no matter how hard I'm trying to figure that out, my Heavenly Father doesn't give me what he knows will ultimately not advance his best purposes for everyone involved. And often, I can't understand why. And that is where truth faith comes into play, my friend. You see, the backslider in heart, the one who questions God, will always judge God by what he didn't do. And some of us will take his no and we'll say that God didn't answer our prayer. But no is an answer. See, those who run with faith in who he is will always define him by what he has said, by what he has promised, by what he has done. Is God my friend? Of course. But God was my Lord long before he was my friend. My friendship with God can only go where his lordship has already been. I don't ever want my lack of understanding to take me away from him. I don't ever want to critique God. He's the one who critiques me. When the demons get cast out and the illnesses get healed, it's easy to rejoice and say, God answered our prayers. But when God's answers fit the outcomes we hope for, faith is easy. When they do not, faith is essential. Because you see, the Lord's Prayer doesn't begin with the phrase, Our waiter who art in heaven, awaiting our beck and call. No, it begins with our Father, a loving, wise, compassionate Father, a Father who loves us more than we're capable of comprehending, who's working in us to develop more than we can currently see, who wants to bring us into places that we cannot understand and use us to touch lives we've not even met. He knows the plans he has for us, plans to prosper us and give us a future. His no as well as his yes are both intended to move us closer to the fulfillment of his call. He tells us he loves us, and then he asks us to trust him. Everything is possible for the one who believes. Getting to the place where your prayers are writing checks that your personal abilities can't cash, only a faithful God can, that's possible. Persisting in prayer when the answers you're seeking haven't arrived yet, that's possible. Trusting in the love of Christ when the answer is no. Yeah, even that is possible. We've come to the end of our time together today, but before I go, I did want to ask you to help me introduce people to the Jesus they never knew and help them get to know him and his word personally and better. So please like this video. It'll help more people see it. Then make sure you click follow or subscribe so that you and I can get together every day. I'd love to meet you in the comments section and hear about how our time together today touched your heart and encouraged your faith. It's also a great place to leave a question. And one more thing, share it with a friend, would you? Because as you do, you're part of the team, touching hearts all over the world with the love of Jesus. Thanks for helping.